industrial computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
All right, good morning, everybody. Hope you're all refreshed, recharged, had yourselves a fantastic long weekend, and are ready for what should hopefully be a tremendous trading day here. Obviously, a few things for us to talk about, right, as we creep up towards the start of the week. But really, primarily, obviously had a few days off, right? Market was relatively low volume, right, last couple days. So it's really all about kind of like working your way back into trading aggressively. What we can't try to do here certainly is try to do it all in one go, or feel like we need to be in a rush to make money, or be willing to compromise here too aggressively. It really is all about just getting back, finding flow, finding rhythm, right? And not being idiots out there. I saw too many trades yesterday, right, from people that tried to fade a slow market, essentially. And that is a very expensive way to trade, and a very expensive way to basically just drain your mental capital. So I would highly recommend against feeling as if, hey, I'm bored, so I need to go short, and to fight back against that self-imposed restriction. That is fundamentally the most frustrating way, right, to lose money. And so I would, talk you off the ledge there, right, essentially as much as possible. Otherwise, right, hope you all had yourselves a fantastic Thanksgiving. Feel refreshed, recharged, right? Had some good turkey, had some good food, enjoyed time with family and friends, and are ready for what should hopefully be a tremendous kind of Santa Claus rally here as we creep up right towards the sort of end of the year. It's also a reminder, right, that we're now creeping up towards 2025, right? It's December 2nd here today. And the trader that you want to be next year starts today, right? It doesn't start next year, right? Doesn't start in a month, doesn't do anything along those lines. So you can start taking those next steps of discipline, of structure, of actually learning from your mistakes, from avoiding that self-sabotage, from building up that discipline, from building up that trust in yourself, from like stop making excuses for yourself, right? You can start doing all these things here today. You don't have to start until, you don't have to wait, right, until January 1st to make those changes in your trading. That doesn't have to be the case. You'll speed up your process significantly if you decide to make that decision, right, to be disciplined here today. So that's a challenge to you all. I would recommend you take that seriously. And hopefully, right, you can build up and create the progress that you want. But you are literally the only one that is standing in the way of your own success. There's no one else that's forcing you to take a trade. There's no one else that is pushing pressure on you to make money. There's no one else that is making you feel as if you're not good enough. There's no one else that's making you feel as if you're too good and that you can't lose. So it is all a self-imposed mental battle. And the more pressure you put on yourself, the more you're going to try to rush these things. And the more you try to rush progress, the more you're just going to lose money, the more you're just going to give back your gains, the more you're just going to chase trades that aren't there, the more that you're just going to blow up accounts, the more you're going to do these things that consistently cost you money. So think back about your trading, right? You have this tremendous amount of evidence to suggest that the way you are behaving is not actually making you any money, and it's time to either change or to save your cash and to walk away, right? That's literally the choices that you have. So you can either change, make a change in your trading. You can do changes that are not just superficial, right? They're actually significant, and you can start to fight back against the bad habits that are costing you money. The hard work in trading isn't the trading part, right? It's the identifying what our flaws are and then fixing those flaws one-to-one, right? Okay, if I'm greedy, I got to fix that. If I'm impatient, I need to fix that. If I don't trade a consistent setup, I need to fix that. And it's just systematically improving, fixing, and solving those problems that actually makes you money. But thinking that placing more trades or going bigger position sizing or pressing harder or rushing into whatever is going to make you more profitable, then you are lying to yourself over what's actually going to create that change for you in your trading. So that would be like my stern warning to you all here. Need to evaluate, right, for yourselves. Am I fixing things that are actually going to make me profitable, or am I fixing things that are going to make me feel as if I'm going to get more profitable? And the outcome of both of those is significantly different, and only you can answer that question for yourself, right? We're all in this together by ourselves, and what that means to me is that we all have our own unique problems, right? We all view things differently. We all have our own struggles. We all have our own pain points. We all have our own, moments where the market slaps us around. And the order of which those things show up is going to be different to us all, right? So some people will be fearful before they're greedy. Some people will be greedy before they're fearful. Some people will be aggressive when they need to be patient. Some people will be patient when they need to be aggressive. But we all go through these same things, but just the order that we go through these psychological issues is unique to us all. And so we need to be fully accountable to ourselves so that we can solve them. There is no shortcuts, right, in fixing those things. There is no answer to rushing your process, right? You have to want it more than someone else wants it for yourself, and you have to make your actions match your words, and you have to put in the work to actually solve those pain points. That's it, guys, right? Like, I can't want it more for you. Your family can't want it more for you. And your P&L can't want it more than you. You have to want to fix your process. You have to want to fix your technique, basically more than you want to fix your P&L. And when you get onto the addiction of fixing your process instead of fixing your P&L will take care of itself. I say that all the time. I stress that all the time. And I'm not always convinced that people take that seriously. So that's my warning, right? It's something that I think is incredibly important. And it literally is what differentiates the serious traders, the profitable traders, from the lifelong losers. So choose who you want to be, make your actions match your words, and make your intentions pure. And I promise you will find a lot more success than what you have here currently. So with that being said, rant out of the way. I had a great little couple days off. Just enough time to not get jet lagged here by the sounds of it. Just enough time to not get any sleep when I was in the UK. But yeah, let's get after it here, team. Let's have ourselves a fantastic day here. And let's start mapping things out and figure out what we want to do here this morning. So first things first, right? We're going to check the economic calendar here. Is it the 3rd or is it the 2nd today? Today's the 3rd. Whoops. Mine's in the gutter. So, for December 3rd here, right? There's job openings at 10. We got some Fed speak here in the afternoon. That's going to be outside of us. And then auto sales to be determined. So the job openings, definitely a big one. So we'll see how that goes. Definitely going to be a interesting session here. All right, so what's the count here on ES? What's the count? Good morning, Nate, Tanja, Constantine, Cordell, Brian, Jack, Jeremy, Ruben, Craig, Mike, Norm. Hope you guys are all doing well. Good morning, DTR guests. Yeah, so 2 out of 3 here to the upside with volume spot on. Honestly, Norm, I was going to bed so late when I was in the UK that I was just going to bed at what would have been the same time if I was in Canada. So we're looking for that breakout past all-time highs, right? We're bouncing off of previous all-time highs here. And we're targeting a move towards like 6,100. Hey, good morning, Joseph. And then we're saying a bounce off of previous ATH. And then breakout up towards. Although it's a 2 out of 3 with volume here to the upside, it's not tremendous volume. So if I get way bigger than what I saw there yesterday, maybe I can play a scenario here to the downside. But to me, this more looks like a grindy, slow, kind of climbing market. And I'm not sure if I want to just trade things to the downside just because things are moving slowly. Historically, my bias often ends up in these slow markets to want to just fade the move because that feels like it's going to be the faster, more exciting, more interesting scenario. So I'm not super into that. I'm going to call it FU volume, right? So it has to be just like so spit in my face aggressive that it feels like assault, right? Like it needs to be such a big volume standard, way bigger than what we saw there yesterday, and then like on a reversal candle, bigger volume than anything I saw previous day, or biggest volume of the day, to have conviction that I can actually get some oomph. All right, NQ. What's the count? Yeah, 2 out of 3 with volume here to the upside. A stronger volume profile, right, relative to the ES, right? Much closer to outlier, right? So I'm not going to have any bear case scenario here today. And then we're targeting still a move towards, 21,400, right? So we're at, yeah, I mean, not too much is changing here. And we're looking for a fake out off probably 21.2. I call it 21.1. And then NA here to the downside, right? It's a strong volume profile. So I'm not going to go short here. Okay, CL. At trend line, we kind of have a dip buyer zone here. So it'd have to be like a trend line rejection, 69.50, right? And so weak 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. And so we're looking for a high vol breakout over 70. So that's fine, right? And then basically be a ORB fake out at the trend line. Then a breakdown towards, right, $68. So fine, looks okay. But don't need to be hyper aggressive here. Okay, Apple, 3 for 3 here to the upside. Nice little breakout. What a beast. So we're looking for 241 breakout, right? Or a dip buy off of previous all-time highs, which is approximately 247. So 241 breakout or 237 dip buy. Hey, Joe. And so that'd be an NA here, right, to the downside. If, for whatever reason, today ends up being a tremendously bearish day and I can't get any for sustained follow-through or whatever, I'm not going to try to catch the top, right? My job as a momentum trader is to catch the middle, take like the biggest bite I can out of the middle, and I'm not trying to eat every little bit of the pie, right? I'm trying to take a big slice out of the middle, and that's it. Everything else is not as valuable to me, doesn't really mean too much, and doesn't give me any conviction I'm actually going to get full from that bite, right? So instead of chasing tops and bottoms, if it's a big bear day here, and this is for pretty much anything, then I'm going to wait for that trend to get established, and then once I have that momentum established, I can look to trade that enthusiasm. I don't need to have the ego to feel like I need to be first trading a bearish reversal. I would rather go with the trend than think that, hey, today is some 5-minute candles, an indication of a new trend here to the downside. That for me would be kind of like a BS interpretation. So I think one thing that people struggle with a lot as traders is they try to catch tops, they try to catch bottoms, they try to catch the biggest possible move instead of the highest probability move, and then they just chop themselves out, right? Chasing stuff that isn't there or very low probability setup. So right now, trend is very much here to the upside, And I'm going to respect that, right, until I get some proven otherwise. It's going to be really hard for me to get that proven otherwise on a 5-min time frame. So I'm just not going to give it that kind of power to trick me into rushing a decision. That is very low probability. All right, Tesla, 2 out of 3 here to the upside with volume. It's gapping down. Might want to be like a gap fill and go type situation. So it'd be like 345 dip buy. So gap fill and go pretty much, right? Then like a BB reversal back up towards the high of that pattern, which would be approximately 360. And then to the downside here, right, NA, because we have that volume supporting. So again, you should be able to hear me, Jeff. You should be able to hear me. Sound is on. Maybe you have something muted. Chat, can you guys confirm? Can all hear me? Yeah, so Jeff, issue on your end, man. Sorry. All right, Microsoft. So wedge breakout here. Increasing volume, not quite outlier, a little gap down, nice little breakout candle though. So we're still looking, right, for that wedge breakout continuation. So 2 out of 3 to the upside with volume. And it's a wedge breakout. And so we're looking for a dip buy. I mean, off of 430, like pretty much, right? 430 dip buy. Or a breakout over 433. And what's the story that we're pretty much seeing everywhere here so far? What's the story? Like kind of trending PA, right? Either various versions of strong, but generally a trend, right? Trend to the upside. So if we're seeing that here across the board, that again, right, makes me less convinced that there's going to be very many clean bearish moves. So talked about starting the day off, right, with when price action grinds slowly higher, very often, right, the bias is like, oh, I want to chase excitement, and the exciting move is to catch that reversal and get a big breakdown. But that's a very low probability trade. That is counter to the general momentum of the market. So, yeah, it's going to be really challenging, I think, here today to want to have really any bearish scenarios. Understood? If it's a bear day, I would rather sit on hands than I would be to try to force a trade just so I feel something. That would be really dumb. Okay, AMD, 3 for 3 here to the upside. I mean, pure bull case, right? Everything's telling me the same story. So, no real desire to go counter trend here, right? There's a reason, like what I'm looking to do here is I'm identifying what the daily trend is, and then I'm looking for the first bit of price action that matches the daily trend, right? So it's going to be really hard for me to invalidate really this momentum post-election and think that, hey, this is the start of a short. That's far too aggressive. I'm going to keep stressing that here today because I saw too many people do that yesterday, and it's unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary. All right, NVIDIA is the one exception we have here so far. 3 for 3 here to the downside. Higher high and a higher low. So there are still some, right, bullish characteristics. But I'm going to go NA here, right, to the upside. And looking for, I'm going to break down here under, I mean, not even. I don't even think I can go short here on this. Because I'd be selling into a reversal area. So again, I'm not super motivated by this. I'd rather let this thing settle itself out. And if it's the one inconsistent story that we're seeing here today, I'm not going to obsess over it here too much. All right, Netflix. So 2 for 3 here to the upside without volume. Still kind of stuck at just under all-time highs, right? So it needs to get above that 908. So we'll call it actually a 909 breakout. We're going to say NA here to the downside. Okay. And then Google 3 for 3 here to the upside again. Still very much inside that Thursday the 21st range. Kind of just grinding in that area. Maybe that's starting to look like capitulation, right? More than bearish continuation. Right? And so needs to go up above, say, 172, right, for a pop towards like 174. Otherwise, I'm not sure if I have, again, right, a very strong narrative here. All right, and then VIX, right, 13.53. So not exactly a tremendous amount of implied volatility. So yeah, not going to be hyper aggressive here, team. Any questions? Any questions? Yeah, Norm. So great question. You could ask that in the chat here, man, in the general group chat, and that would for sure pair with what we're possibly looking at here today, right? So we've got trending price action here, or weak trending price action. We're looking at a trend line rejection, so we could very possibly, right, see a nice sell-off right in the morning, and then a continuation narrative here to the downside. Any questions, guys? All right, sweet. So I'm going to go make myself a quick cup of coffee, spend just a few minutes here visualizing a successful trading day, and then we'll jump back on here in a minute or two. All right, so let's get after it here, team. And yeah, we're going to be patient. We're going to be relatively cautious, right? We're going to wait for things to be absolutely perfect. But I'm certainly not going to be in a rush just to trade something just to feel alive, right? That's not worth it. All right, so let's have ourselves a big day here, team. And then, like I said, right? First day back after a little bit of time away. First day trading again after a couple days away from the market. Don't need to force anything, right? I don't need to rush into something. I don't need to be hyper aggressive. I can be patient. I can be cautious. I can be deliberate, right? Those are all things that are going to make me more money long term than whatever, right, I might make here today. I'm not playing for the day-to-day win. I'm playing for the long-term win. And if I can't delay that gratification, then I'm probably not going to find the success that I'm looking for here as a trader. And the more and more and more I try to rush processes or skip steps or do any of those types of variables, I just set myself up for failure, right? Each and every time. So I'm constantly asking myself, right? Or what I'm telling myself, right? I should say, it's probably a better way of describing it, is what feels best for me in the moment is rarely what is best for me and my account long term. So I'm optimizing for that long-term success, not that short-term success. And I'm ignoring that little voice in my head that's telling me I need to rush or force things or speed things up or do anything along those lines. Because all that does is it costs me money, right? All that does is it tricks me into skipping steps. All that does is it tricks me into taking trades that don't neatly follow my rules or my process or my technique. And then I might make money one day, but the next time I do that, right, I'm going to lose everything. So the only way that I can fight back against that impulsive maniac is by being more deliberate, by being more specific, by being more precise with how I'm willing to trade. And that always means, right, slowing down that dopamine, not making decisions based on those feelings, and just constantly optimizing, right, remaining in control. So it is the trader that remains in control that wins. It is the trader that gives control to the market that loses. So if I'm getting tricked into making a decision, if I'm rushing a process, if I'm doing anything along those lines, I will be punished. And guys, if you're a guest here, if you're a DTR member, if there's something that doesn't make sense, or you feel like you're rushing and you need to make a decision that is suboptimal, this is what I'm here for, right? I'm here to answer your questions. I'm here to help kind of point you in the right direction, right? I'm here to help you focus on the variables that you can control and to show you what good trading habits actually look like. So I'm going to rant and rave like a lunatic because that's just who I am. But I can help you a lot more, right? The more specific you are with me. So if you have questions, if there's something you're stuck on, if there's a setup that you're looking at that you're not sure what you should do, or if it kind of follows the plan, let's get that question answered, because that's going to make you a better trader here long term. We don't need to rush these processes. We don't need to chase things. We don't need to only get feedback when things go poorly. We can be proactive, not reactive, and that's going to speed up our learning curve significantly too. And if I can't answer your question in the moment, I'll let you know and I'll get back to it. But I'll never leave you hanging, right? And I always make sure that I can give you the support and coaching that you need in the moment. Is that fair? So in general, right, the more feedback you give me, the more feedback I can give you, and that ultimately, right, makes you a better trader. And then today, right, we've got job openings, which is a relatively important piece of data. And that happens at 10 a.m. So you might have to wait till 10 or after 10, right, before we get that clear indication of trending PA. Okay, so no increasing volume there on NQ. Yes, it's increasing, but not the right candle shape, and certainly not that FU volume that we talked about, right? Today's opening candle less than what we saw there yesterday. Yesterday wasn't exactly a tremendously high volume day. So now we still have significantly less volume than that here at today's open. And yeah, it's hard for me to think that I've got a indication of a trend reversal here yet. So no reason. Man, is it? I feel like I complain about this every day, but it just gets so cold and so sad. All right, so we're looking at crude here. All right, here we definitely have a little bit more of a bearish opportunity. Sandy check. Nothing later on in the morning. Okay, so a little inside bar there. Doesn't kill anything. So stop loss have to be 68.99. So let's see how this behaves. Again, I'm not rushing into this here yet, right? I'm not rushing into this. Just starting to set up my order, watching how price behaves and moves. Again, I don't care that ES is selling off here early. Really does not mean anything to me. Again, being very patient, being very cautious. No rush, right? We've already seen a little bit of a fake out here on CL. Right? It got hit 69, so a penny above, right? Our potential stop loss location that we identified. So we're going to want to wait for this thing to reset and give us something smoother. You know, as we creep up towards, Christmas, it's pretty historical Santa Claus rally type setup here. So just like rushing things and forcing price action is not going to be the move. Understood? Yeah. Oof, it is so cold. Okay, still low volume, right, on the indexes. So again, I stress, I have not missed anything here yet, right? Not missed anything. CL wouldn't have given me a tradable opportunity or one where I would have made money on, right? Only opportunities where I would have been stopped out. So again, not missed anything. Got 15 minutes, right, until market data. So we do have a little bit of time here still if like an NQ or ES wants to give us a high volume reversal. But again, just being patient, right? Being patient. This idea that I have to rush a decision or rush myself to try to make money is a almost guaranteed way to set myself up to lose, right? So it's really not about the number of trades that you take. It's all about the quality of decisions that you make, right? And if you try to rush those decisions, you try to rush those processes, so watching NQs, you need to hold above 200 here. right? 21.2. Okay, green candle, but not the right shape, right? And didn't hold above 200 on that 945 candle. So we're going to wait. ES, right? Looks like it's decreasing volume. Pretty low volume profile here so far today. So maybe we're waiting for jolts, right? Man, my coffee's getting cold so fast here this morning. Okay, again, still nothing here of value. Same thing with CL. Again, I would have been stopped out, right, going short here. So I have not missed out on anything. Can't trick myself into thinking, right, that this time is different. 33 Celsius, Suresh, or Fahrenheit? That's cold. Again, we're still looking for volume to show up pretty much across the board. Nothing has changed here yet. I was saying this to one of my friends, but when I flew out on Thursday to go to the UK, it was the first day where it started snowing. And I was like, oh boy. Like, I wouldn't be super sad if the plane crashed. Okay. So we're back looking at CL here now. This would have to be the aggressive entry technique. So stop loss 68.93 for now. This would be a short, right? This would be a short. Okay, at this point, it would have to be a higher stop loss. It's starting to get less and less interesting. Haven't determined that here yet because we haven't established a clean stop loss, Kiki. So we're going to wait, right? Let it find resistance right here. Establish a clean stop loss. And then once we have a distinct stop loss, we can work backwards to find our contracts. So we don't have that information yet. All we have right now is a setup. Once we have confirmation, right, of our stop loss holding, then we can figure out our position sizing. It's not in play yet. But that's honestly a question that you can answer for yourself, right? So the point here is that when you place a trade and you set your stop loss, you should be determining what your max loss is, right? So how much does one contract move %? Well, on CL, it moves $10 per cent, right, that the underlying moves. So if your entry is going to be 86 and your stop loss is, say, 102, right? How many cents is that? So say entry at 88, stop loss at 02. How many cents is that? It's 14 cents, right? So that means one contract is going to cost you $140. So if one contract costs you $140, is that more or less than 500, right? Well, it's less. So how many could you buy to be within 500? You could buy 3, maybe 4. So that's always, right, the calculation you have to be asking yourself. So there should never be a surprise over how much trade is going to cost you. And we need to be thinking about our own risk, right, and doing those calculations ourselves, because that's going to give you a lot more confidence. So the process for finding it out is relatively simple, and I'd love to see you practice that, right, as much as possible. right? And that's where TradingView is fantastic as well, right? Because if you set your stop loss here now 69.03 and you set your price to be at the bid, right? Short bid. Right now, it's telling you that if you bought 5 contracts, right, you'd have $550 worth of risk. So that's more, right, than what my max loss I'd be willing to take is. So I would be sizing down, right? I'd be sizing down to 3 contracts at this price. At 91 or above, I could buy 4 contracts. But again, be pretty patient here. We got 2 minutes now till market data drops. I'm going to wait to see if we get a good reaction to that. So far, there's nothing there that's really given us any indication of trending price action. So I've got very few reasons to be aggressive here yet. And again, I'm going to be building off of the same things, right, that we focused on there last week. So cutting losers quickly, right, being aggressive in how I add to winners, and managing my risk like a lunatic. If I'm green on a trade and I'm green $300 and then I take a $200 loss, it's not a good result, right? If I lost $100 when I was expecting to lose 500, that is a good result. So I'm trying to gamify that process here as much as possible and just control those variables as best as I can. So just going to wait for this data here still. The no volume, right, on that hold above 200. So for now, I have no action, right? Nothing here has neatly yet met the criteria of this graphic. Which again, this can be found in the Trading Docs tab, right? So I don't need to be in a rush, right? Being in a rush to make money just sets you up to be in a rush to lose. I will keep repeating that here. I mean, I don't have a volume profile here yet to indicate a reversal, right? I've got no increasing volume here at these lows, so not yet. I don't really have any active setups here. Maybe on NQ now it's starting to give me a 200 breakout. But again, need to see increasing outlier volume. We're $1.45 to go here on this 3-minute candle, so this is maybe looking like the most likely setup. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay, and we'd be targeting probably 21.3 here, 21.3. So let's see how this thing behaves, right? 50 seconds to go. We're definitely going to get that outlier volume. So the opening range. So it's this green box and red lines. So a visualization or a visual of my strategy. If you want to get more detail on it, you can find this document inside the Trading Docs tab. And it'll explain my setup trigger in a lot of detail. You can also go through the courses. It'll be explained there. Okay, so 5 seconds to go here. Looking good. Okay, we're probably going to go 17 to 91's okay, but I'd rather go tighter stop loss, get a breakout above, or a deep enough pullback to justify. So stop loss as is have to be 194. So again, I'm going to start to set up my order window here. Not going to click submit here right away. Just be patient. Don't need to rush this. I would prefer the aggressive technique. Right, because that would allow me to get the sizing that I want, right? As is, I'm risking, 30 cents or 30 points right at that 94. So I just can't buy very many contracts, right? Now, if there's 208, it's a little bit of a different story. So let's see if we can find support inside this range. And then what I'm looking to do here is if I'm going long, I want to buy on the downtick, right? So as price is pulling back, and I want to go sell my position, right, on the uptick. So I haven't established support here yet inside this candle. So that's why I haven't clicked submit. All right, starting to behave potentially like a little bit of a fake out. So let's see if we can find support off of 200. That would be pretty logical. And then we can go from there. Okay, good little bounce. So I'm starting to watch here, team. Starting to watch. Like I said, I'm going to be looking for a buy on the downtick, right? So I'm not going to chase price higher. I'm buying as price is pulling back. So stop loss for now would be 194. And as is, right, I can't click submit here. I'd be risking too much. Right? I'd be risking 550, right, when want to be risking less than 500. So if that's the case, right, I can switch this to a different time frame, or wait for this candle to close and then look for the aggressive entry technique, right, on another opportunity, or again, right, another pullback inside an area where we've now seen dip buyers, right, step in and defend. I don't need to chase this. Okay, good little breakout here again. So now we're going aggressive. Stop loss 225.50. Oh, whoops, 21, 225.50. And see where it finds support, right? And then again, buy on the pullback, right? Okay. Okay, see, good reason to not rush. See if it finds support now off of 220. Okay, so still no reason to jump in here yet. And all we've seen, right, the reason we haven't jumped in is because we've seen elevator down. No, Juan, I will always tell you when I'm in a trade. You'll see it on my screen here. I will tell you when I click submit and jump in. I have not done that yet. All we're doing right now is figuring out where our stop loss needs to be and mapping this out. When I enter a trade, it'll be in NQ long. You'll see me write it out. And then I will post the Discord alert as well. So there won't be any ambiguity over what I am doing. All we're looking for right now is, do we have an appropriate area where we can place a stop loss location? And then go from there. Okay, higher high, higher low, so still have bullish characteristics. But we're looking to find an appropriate area of support, right, to have a logical stop loss. Not sure if we have that here yet. So what I'm looking for always, right, once I establish a breakout, is to see elevator up, stairs down. So what does that mean, right? It means that price action moves higher faster than it moves lower, right? So right now, we're pulling back faster than the move that happens to the upside, which is why it's easy for me to avoid this, because I'm not seeing bulls defending that breakout, right? Does that make sense? DTR guess, does that make sense? So potentially having stop loss under VWAP, right, could potentially be a logical spot. It's a decent bounce back, a little fake out under 200, right, and then a bounce back above. So again, starting to set up a little bit more likely here now. All we're doing is just being patient, right? Our objective here with our entry is to be green right away, not to spend 10 minutes in drawdown, right? And again, possibly setting up here, good volume on that dip buy. We saw a lot of people defend 200, right? Which is the reaction you'd want to expect, or you'd expect. So now maybe we can do something like this, right? 195 stop. Or, right, the aggressive technique if it sets up again. Now, I'd prefer the aggressive because it would allow me to get a better position sizing. But if it doesn't want to behave, it doesn't want to behave, and I'll wait for the deeper pullback. Okay, so we're looking right now as is 195 stop. And we're starting to see price action getting stuck a little bit, right, as it's pulling back. So again, that's giving me indications that bears are maybe a little bit exhausted. This would be a one contract trade, not more than that. And still just watching here very patiently to find exactly what I want to see from price action before I click submit. So I'm not doing this based on a feeling, right? I'm doing this based on price action. So either it pulls back slowly and into my area or it doesn't. If it pulls back like this, like as it has now, right? Well, that's moving lower faster than it's moving higher. So I can't really say that that's a stairs down type situation. So I have no incentive, right, to click submit. And if I don't get a trade here today, no worries, right? I don't need to get a trade every single day. I don't need action every single day. I just need to follow my rules and my process. If I do that, I will be fine. I will make a lot of money. The market will take care of itself. If I don't do that, right, then I just end up chasing. Well, then the distribution of results is random. They'll never notice the pattern that makes me money or the pattern that costs me money. So again, a better reaction, higher high, higher low. So we're still in play here. Nothing's dead yet. So we're looking at a stop loss 195 as is. All right, and we're going long here. Red line would be my stop loss, right? This one would be my stop loss. Okay, so we can get a little pullback here. All right, starting to move faster, higher, right, than it's moving lower, which is a good sign. All right, so we've been waiting for. So now we want to see a weak pullback, right, back into our potential entry zone. And I want to go long on the downtick, right? So I don't want to chase price as it's going higher. I want to buy on a pullback. Still no. Okay, guys, I am in long 215.75, one contract. And stop loss is at 195. Okay, and not a great initial reaction here. So as we can get back up above my entry. Okay, better. I don't know what don't see link. What does that mean? Great entry, Mike. What does that mean, Takar? What does that mean? Can't answer your question, man, if you don't give me any follow-up here. Come on, help me out. Okay, it's got to bounce here. Okay, took the stop loss. I lost 415.85 on that. Okay, and that possibly sets us up here now, right, for an ES rejection. Potentially the easier setup now. Still, Takar, I don't know what you mean by don't see the link. Please, I need context there, man. I can't answer your question with just that statement. I don't know what don't see link means. Right, CL also interesting here to the upside. Okay, well, I'll have to ignore your question, Takar. I don't know what it means. Okay, this is very appealing as well here. CL to the upside, right? High vol breakout through our trend line, right? So here was our plan, breakout past the trend line. That's a high vol breakout through our trend line. Stop loss would be 69.25. Again, give me patient on this. As is, right? Be able to buy 5 contracts. Okay, so again, watching here very carefully, right? As this would be a 5 contract play. Again, I want to see that trend line act as support. So either a flush through that zone, right? Like an overreaction flush gives me an opportunity to buy. Or, right, if we get that elevator separation and then a pull back in, that would then be the reason to purchase as well. Okay, gonna start looking for an entry here on CL. Only 5 contracts. I have a partial fill. But not a full. Trying to get full fill here at 34. Okay, maybe could do this. Stop loss at 30. I've got a partial fill here, like I said, right? I have a partial fill. See if I can get that 34. Otherwise, I will close this and reset and try to get a better price. Or set this back up on a different time frame. Okay, there we go, guys. So now I'm in full size here, 5 contracts, 69.34. Stop loss 69.25. again, let's see if this thing can keep going here. Give me green right away, right? Green right away. We've gotten stuck at that 40 a couple times. So if we can blast through that, right, we should get back to nicely green here on the day. So far, so good here, right? That's 350 bucks. Let's see if we can get a bit more. And again, I want to be a lunatic in how I protect this. Good entry, Kiki. Good entry. So there's 41. So we can get above that. So far, so good here. So far, so good. And that was a good reminder, right, over why chasing entries is not a good thing, right? If it's strong, it'll always give us a second chance to enter. Don't have to chase it and make ourselves feel bad. Yeah, fantastic. We're close here. Come on. Still haven't had a tremendous amount to follow through here yet. But that puts us now green on the day, right? That's 500 bucks. 600. There we go. So let's see if we can get a bit more follow through here. Right, and break past that 50. If we break past that 50, maybe have a chance to pyramid in. Especially if it happens with enthusiasm. So far, so slow. I will not let this trade go red at this point. Turning into a very nice win. Feeling good, team? Feeling good? What happened, Mike? How'd you miss it? Lots of time to have this set up. So I'd love to see this hold above 50. If this three-man candle can't hold above 50, I will get out. Okay, so far so good here. So far so good. Okay. 52. And again, right, my emphasis here will be to close as my P&L is increasing, not decreasing, right? Well, this might give you another chance to set up here, Mike, so no worries. I appreciate you sharing that, and I'm happy that you didn't chase. 100% the right thing. There it goes, guys. I'm closing it on that pop. I closed it on that pop. That happened way too fast. Fill price of $69.63. Nice win. Let's go. Boom. So rule of thumb, right? We've talked about this. DTR members, you're familiar with this, right? But when things move faster than you'd expect, get out and run. Nice work, Kiki. 1,200 bucks on the day. Congratulations. Let's go. Yeah, nicely green on the day here, right? Nicely green on the day, John. So 1450 on that win. And that puts me to it's a little bit over $1,000 on the day per account, right? No complaints. Power of risk management. Nice work, Jenny. Let's go. $923 on the day. Fantastic work. Well done. So again, right, when we lose small, we lose the control. We make it easy to win on that next trade. And that was a fantastic decision to close, right? Look at how this thing is now pulled back. Yeah, generally when it moves that fast, because like that moved 20 times faster than it was moving previously, right? So historically, that ends up being a little bit of a capitulation move versus a continuation narrative. And worst case scenario, I can jump back in if it shows higher highs above that 64 now. So yeah, generally rule of thumb here, River Worker, is when it moves faster than I expect, I would rather close my P&L as it's increasing than I would to try to close it on a pullback. Because I can always jump back in. Nice work, Joe. Nice work. Especially when it's a little bit later in the morning. 10:30 still kind of on that cusp. But we went from breaking through basically through that 50 to going and hitting, 64, 65 in 3 seconds. So that just makes me nervous that's the move, right? Hey, for now, looks like the right decision. Nice work, Glenn. Hey, $985 is a fantastic result. Let's go. Joe, for you as well, man. $765. That's fantastic. So again, right, shows the power of managing our risk really well, right? And then buying appropriate pullbacks and closing our trade, right, as our P&L is increasing. So we bought that on a dip, right? We sold it on a rip. Boom, beautiful. And if it sets back up, right, we can still take another shot at this. Because I much rather close my position here as my P&L is increasing, Norm, right? I would much rather do that than sell off on a pullback and give back gains. Because I can always take another shot, right? I can always take another shot. if it establishes some support later on. Right? So if I can gamify closing as my P&L is at its peak, right? And I can gamify closing as my loss is as small as I can get it, then I like artificially juice the risk rewards always in my favor, and I create a lot more margin of error in my decisions, right? So instead of needing to have a 80, 90, 95% win rate to be profitable, I can win on 25% of my trades and still be green. So I'm just making it easier for future Michael to be profitable, basically. And then so I'm just adding in my journal here, right? Is that price action has essentially stalled since I closed my position. Right? So we've moved, okay, as high as like 66, 65. But we haven't really missed out on too much here yet. So closing at that 63 or closing on that rip higher, absolutely the right move. This thing now has an opportunity to set back up and we can look to try again. But selling on that rip higher, objectively the right move because price action is now stalled post the big volume breakout, right? So I've not missed out on anything here, objectively. So good decision. I would say all things considered, a very good decision. And yeah, generally those types of rips, right, that quickly are a sign of capitulation more than continuation. Does that make sense to everybody? Fantastic. Good. I'm glad we could have a nice green day. Feels awesome. Everyone green? Yeah? It's up there, John. I agree. It's up there. So, Sammy, I would not do that, right? Because you then skew up basically the ability to play that variance. So, either size all your trades to be the same, right? Or cut down your risk on that first trade. Because all that then does, right, is it artificially makes your average loss bigger than your average win. Right, that trade had a chance to be 2.5 times bigger than your previous loss. And you need that margin of error when you catch winning trades to be able to survive any drawdown. Oh, absolutely, John. Absolutely. That's why I try to be very systematic and try to behave very consistently with my process, right? Because then I'm trading. I'm not thinking or being greedy or being whatever. I'm just looking at the price action as objectively as I can. And yeah, definitely made a good decision closing on that rip. And so yeah, I would rather sell right at 63 than sell at this pullback to 53, right? That's a big difference. In P&L, that's a $500 difference. So I would much rather, right, lock in that 500 bucks, set myself up for my next opportunity to be net risk, right? Net risk free, and then always have a chance to reset. But I think it's a bad habit to get comfortable closing as your P&L is decreasing. Because then it's generally a panicked close. Oh, this feels like crap. And then because you see that amount that you were up before, and then what you finished at, you kind of start to feel like you're owed X amount, right? And then you start to chase or do whatever, do X, Y, Z. And that's not super sustainable. So yeah, great outcome here, team. Great outcome. 2 trades, 1 win, 1 loss. Win 3 times bigger than our loss. A little bit more than 3 times bigger than our loss. So cannot complain about that. How's everyone feeling? Good? Happy to be back? I hear that, Mike. I hear that. Definitely missed trading with you guys. And I'll have you know, yesterday was not a very fun trading day. I didn't trade at all yesterday. So, Nitin, I would potentially look at this 60-50 as our possible dip buy spot. But I would need to see some sort of bullish reversal, right, on bullish volume. That hasn't really happened here yet. We haven't got too much evidence of that acting as support. So for now, this more looks like a day of consolidation, right? It's an inside bar here so far today than it does a day of trending PA. So on consolidation days, buying dip buys doesn't really lead to anywhere. And that kind of is more what it looks like here today. Whereas at least with CL, right, it looks a little bit more like a trend day. So a dip buy here would be a better opportunity than, say, some other thesis. So you want to be doing dip buys, right, when you've got trending markets. Dip buys in chop or nasty PA consolidation. It's random where the price is going to go. So again, that's okay, but it's not a good enough volume profile there on the 3-min. And on the 5-min, it's not really outliers. There's nothing here that indicates like a change in personality. CL might be back in business here for us. Probably the only thing I don't like is that it didn't hold above the previous high a day on that candle. It doesn't seem to have an issue with that. So I would be interested in the CL again here. Targeting 70 bucks, right? Whoops. So let's see again, being very patient here. We haven't seen this attempt to find support here off of these lows. So I'd like to see that happen first before I look for any longs. So let's see. Okay, first attempt here at a lower low. Remember, all we have right now is a setup. Don't have a reason to enter, and we don't have a reliable stop loss yet. So I'm literally just watching this for now. I didn't even have my order window set up or good to go. I'm waiting to see if we can establish support and if I have momentum here for continuation move to 70 bucks. Everyone understand? Okay, I mean, that's fine. Higher high, higher low. Again, the main reservation of not being able to close above that 69.68 area, right, which was previous high of day. Well, that's now acted as a bit of an area of support here twice, right? So the reaction around that zone is sort of what I'm watching here at this point. Because if I can't see that previous area of resistance act as support, then I'm going to struggle to get follow through towards 70. So now, right, as price action pulls back, I'm basically watching the bounce off of this red line. How enthusiastically do we see that area get supported? How quickly does it bounce back above it if we pull under? And then once I see strength from bulls, right, I can then look to set up my entry. But for now, I'm still watching that reaction to that level, right? So now we're under it. How quickly do we bounce back up, or do we flush lower? Little bounce. But then back under, right? And it's stuck now. Now under again. Bounce back up to it. Bounce above. So hard to say that that has been a very enthusiastic defense of that area here yet, right? Like if I'm to visualize what a strong bullish reaction would look like at my zone, that has not been it yet. Right? Everyone get what how I picked that line? Awesome. So again, we're like 2 cents over, 2 cents under, 2 cents under, 2 cents over, 2 cents under. Not an enthusiastic reaction. And it closed right at it. So again, still acting as resistance more than support. Okay, better. I'm going to wait, right? See if I can get a close above that red line pretty much. $50 seconds to go. Lots of time. Okay, let's see. Okay, so good volume here, right? Gonna start to watch again. I go stop loss 69, 65. I might just keep it at 63 to be honest. No. Much higher than that, Jacob. I wouldn't want to see that deep of a pullback. I'm looking my buy zone here, right? So red line is my stop loss. Anywhere under that green line is a justifiable risk reward ratio, and white line is my profit target. If I was planning to do that, right, it would look more like that. So this is my buy zone between 72 and 63. But I'm being pretty patient here. And we're back under that previous high a day. It's not what I want to see. It's 11 a.m. Maybe running out of time here a little bit. Not out of time, so I don't want to stream. That's fine. It's just historically, you tend to not make higher highs aggressively post 11. Right? Or it takes like a 2-hour break, 3-hour break, and then it gives you momentum again. So I would say that looks a little bit like a fake out, which is less appealing. Well, I might just walk away. So you can find that inside the Discord, inside the Trading Docs tab. If you don't have access to the Discord, then you have not purchased access to that document. Okay, let's see. Maybe this 5-min. Takar, send me an email, michael@dtrtrading.com, and I'll see if you have permissions for it. Yeah, so I feel pretty vindicated not placing anything here. I'm gonna say no setup. Any questions here, team? Any questions? Nice work today, Mike. Proud of you for not chasing. On what, ES, Sammy? I mean, I guess in theory you could. But it's already given me that trend line breakout. So I might just want to be stuck here at this point. Already a decent sized move. It's above that previous high. I mean, it absolutely could. Just not sure if I have an edge trading it at this point. Well, because on the previous candles here, right, we just could not hold above that. So this was our setup candle, right, for our move, 1048, and it couldn't hold above previous high of day. So that then told me, right, that that's the initial starting point here for resistance. So it's because our confirmation setup candle couldn't close above that previous area of support. Yeah, 100% Joe. And that's what I have in my notes here. So that's what I'm filling in here right now. All right, awesome day here, team. So, journal entry. First day back trading after a few days off. Wanted to be calm, slow, and methodical today. Had 2 trades. First, a loss on NQ. Was in at 21, 215.75 and wasn't green on that position right away. 15 seconds after my entry price was 208, 209, 207, etc. And then would bounce higher to like 217, 216.50, etc. That should have been my cue to cut it early and not take the $415 loss. The second trade was much cleaner. Played CL long on a trendline breakout at 69.34, targeting a move towards 70. I got a partial fill at 69.34, 4 out of 5 contracts, and then I got a full fill 50-ish seconds later. Once I got my full fill, price moved in my direction almost instantly and was able to turn 69.40 into support for a move towards 69.50 plus. Once we pulled into 69.50, price then exploded higher and got as higher as 69.65. That move happened in about 5 seconds and happened way faster than I expected. Instinctively, that felt like capitulation / pause more than continuation. So I closed that trade at 69.63 as the rip higher was going. I'm really focusing on closing trades as my P&L is increasing, and I don't want to be closing on pullbacks and giving away big wins. This was a great example of that. Made $14.50 on that trade. Price did bounce around a bit, but mostly stalled at that area before selling off, etc. It would have been a challenging hold to have caught 10 more cents. I did the right thing closing early. All in all, I should have closed that first trade earlier, but did a really good job with that second trade and was able to finish up the day nicely green. So no complaints from my end here today. That seems off. Cool. And P&L graphics looking pretty healthy here. So any questions here, anybody? Any questions? Final call for questions. Final call for questions. my pleasure. Hey, I need them too. But yeah, I was glad to rebuild some mental capital. That's important as well. We'll get there, Cabo. Maybe not this year. But we'll get there. Yeah, like the money will take care of itself if I keep being disciplined, structured, obsessive over losing small, right? And obsessive over protecting big wins. I think if I'm being objective, and I'll do this over the holiday period, I'm going to take a bit of time off. But around, realistically, if I could cut my average loss by a third and increase my average win by 15%, that's hitting it right there. So if I just obsess about cutting losers faster and obsess more about, closing my winners when they're big wins, fight back against that greed, I'm going to hit it, no problem. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Profit protecting psychopath. That's it. I'm going to actually change it. A process protecting psychopath. Because if I obsess over about the quality of my process and I protect those decisions, then the P&L will take care of itself. I appreciate you saying that, Cordell. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you get too close to the market and you need some time off and you need to just reset and do something fun. I'm not always very good at doing that. I very much enjoy trading more than pretty much anything in the world. So finding the justification to take time off, it's like, oh, well, why do I want to do something different than what I love? All right, team. Well, same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. Same deal like always, right? If you have any questions, just hit me up. I'll message you when I have a chance. Otherwise, looking forward to catching up with a few of you here in our one-on-ones later this afternoon. And yeah, we'll keep building up what's been a great start here to the week. And we'll keep finding some success and keep stacking up those wins and keep kind of improving. For those of you who are DTR guests and you enjoyed trading with me here today, we'd love to have you be a member of the live stream here full time and help get you that leverage so you can accomplish all your trading objectives without any downside liability. It'd be a lot of fun to work with you all and help you take your trading to the next level. So if that's something you're interested in doing, send a message to your DTR advisor or send me an email and we'll get you to be a part of the team here and get you started. So have yourselves a fantastic rest of the day and looking forward to working with a few of you in a more detailed and hands-on way and help you accomplish your trading objectives. Talk soon. Have yourselves a great day.